It's time for your low country real estate market update. It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Brian is one of the top 1% real estate agents in Charleston. Find him online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. Now, broadcasting from the WTMA studios, here's your host, Brian Beatty.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA. Thanks for having me as we talk about real estate here in the Low Country. If this is your first time tuning into this program, let me give you an idea of what we talk about on this show. This is a show that is designed to help inform you about not just the real estate market, but the inner workings of real estate. What you need to know if you're a buyer, seller, or investor when it comes time for you to make a change in terms of where you live. Maybe you're finding a new place to call home. Maybe you want to start investing in real estate. I'm going to help give you the information you need to make informed decisions and educate you about this market and about the process so that you can get the best deal possible. You can move in the quickest amount of time, get the most amount of money, all of that fun stuff. That's what this show is designed to do. It's designed to tell you the truth about real estate so that you can do the best you can when it comes time to make a transaction. Now, I have a lot planned over the course of the next hour, and I am joined by a special guest. Let me first just get this out of the way. If you want to contact me or my team, you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, and you'd like to employ our services or at the very least have a conversation with us about what we can do for you, my number is 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. Or you can visit our website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. A lot of good stuff on there, some free guides for you to download specific to our market. You can listen to radio shows, search the MLS, learn about myself, my team, who we are, what we do, what we sell. Or you can subscribe to my podcast, which we've now rolled out and is on iTunes, isn't available for you. You can subscribe to that, and if you're not, in the car or in front of a computer and streaming, you can always just go to the podcast, which is on iTunes, Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. So without much further ado, I want to get into our guest because the first thing I want to talk about is first-time home buyers. And I want to talk about that, and I want to talk to somebody that obviously is on the front lines along with me as a real estate agent, and that is a lender. And he's been on the show before, so please join me in welcoming Michael Santelli with Movement Mortgage. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brian.
How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Good to be back here, man. It's a pleasure to get to have another chat with you and all your listeners.
For sure. All right, so what I want to talk about, there's so much information out there, and one of the things that I'm very passionate about, not just on this program, but just in general when I help people buy and sell, or I'm coaching my clients to help people, or agents to help their clients buy and sell, I want the information to be factual. I want the information to be relevant. I want us to be as reliable a source of information as possible and not to be skewed by our own personal interests and gains, right? So I talk a lot about separating the buzz of information from the facts. And so what I thought we'd talk about first as it relates to first-time home buyers, because you're seeing a lot of, if you Google, real estate news, you're going to see a lot of information about first-time home buyers right now. They're starting to pull back from the market a little bit, which is a problem. And so I figured maybe the best way to help first-time home buyers, rather than telling you what to do, is to first tell you what not to do. So, Michael, from your perspective, because, my team works obviously with everybody from the first-time home buyer to the multi-million-dollar, oceanfront buyer. But as it relates to first-time home buyers, what would you say is the first thing you would tell somebody not to do if they're going to buy their first home?
Right. Well, let me back up a second. We're going to get there. I want to say, too, I love to take the mortgage aspect of it and do actual planning, right? It's not just, hey, here's a mortgage application and go fill that out and then give it back to me. I want to do a mortgage plan. It's about education. Just like you look at it for real estate, you want to educate people about buying and selling and what they're looking at, what to make the most of their real estate transaction. I like to do the same thing on the mortgage side. I like to do a full plan. Let's look at everything. Let's just not pick a program and go with it. Let's structure this as good as we can. And a lot of that's education. And I will tell you, the first-time buyers, the ones that are coming out of college, I don't know if that's priming them for it or whatnot, but they are educated, and they know how to use the internet to kind of get themselves educated in the beginning there. But there's definitely some misconceptions there. And I do see some mistakes, and sometimes people come with these preconceived notions of what they want to do, and I have to kind of peel the onion back, as you always like to say too, and kind of rebuild it and teach people about mortgages. And I find that people love to understand the inside workings. So I do that with everybody. If you want to learn about a mortgage transaction, give me a call. I will teach you everything you want to know about getting a mortgage and how to structure it, and we'll put a serious plan together.
You know, what you said, I just want to pause for a quick second, because what you said was actually very interesting. And you said that people love to learn about the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that to be true too. I think part of the challenge, and obviously part of the opportunity with this program, is to make sure that they're learning the right things.
Absolutely.
You know, you can go on Facebook and your news feed, and the news within it is skewed based on your political preference. And,
exactly.
You know, it's all catered to you based on what you like and dislike.
Totally.
So,
and I see the same thing on the mortgage side.
So it's good that they're educating themselves. It's just a question of, are they educating themselves with the right information?
Right. Bingo. Exactly. And that's just it. And sometimes those notions aren't exactly correct. But we like to do the plan. So one of the biggest things that I see as far as first-time buyers, and I deal with this a lot. I mean, your team and I have this conversation, I feel like, with somebody daily. It's assuming that you will not qualify.
Right.
That is the number one biggest mistake that I see people. I mean, obviously, if you're committed to buying, you're committed to buying. But I see so many people on the fence that just simply assume that they will not qualify. Right? So I always talk about the triangle of approvals, if you will. Your debt-to-income ratio, your credit score, and your assets, or your down payment, basically. That's what I like to call the triangle of underwriting. Now, there's different, obviously, subcategories under that, but that's what underwriters are looking at to determine, one, can you qualify, and how much can we get you qualified for? So credit score. We have programs down to 580 that we can get people approved for a mortgage, specifically the FHA loan. It's a great first-time buyer program. So people were like, well, my credit score is only 620. I can't get a mortgage. Well, that's just not true. We can go down to 580. We need some compensating factors, and let's kind of talk about those, but you can actually get a mortgage with a credit score down to 580. So that's number one. Number two, down payment. Well, I only have like $3,000 in the bank. I can't get a mortgage. Well, that's not necessarily true either. There's specific first-time buyer programs that are as little as 3% down. Okay, now, not only that, it doesn't have to be your money per se. You can get a gift from a qualified person, specifically a family member.
Right.
So if you only have $3,000 and you need 3% of a $200,000 home, you're going to need $6,000 for a down payment, right? Plus closing costs. Well, that can all come from a family member to make it work. So we can overcome that way. You can also pull, if you've been employed for a little while and you've got a 401k, that's also another qualified area we can pull a down payment. So just because you don't necessarily have the down payment right now, we can probably put a plan to get that together. And when I always tell people too, if you don't and you want to save, because I know that's a difficult conversation to have with parents or family, we'll put together a plan. Well, this is how much you need. You need $6,000. This is your budget every month. Put this away, and we're talking in 6 months. You're there. You're there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
For so many people, it's a yes or a no. You know, sorry, buyer, you're not qualified. I can't help you.
It's never a no. It's a not right now.
You know, and it's just, there are so many agents that focus on, you know, think for just a second, if you're listening, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, but if you're in sales, you've got this big circle that represents the entire public that at some point in time will transact in your given field. For us, obviously, it's real estate. So we've got buyers, sellers, investors, people that will do something real estate related at some point in time. Most of us do. But what the majority of real estate agents do is they focus on a very small circle within this big circle that represents the ready, willing, and able buyers, sellers, investors. They want the hot and ready business right now.
Yeah, and how often does that happen?
It's a very small circle in relation to the whole.
Yeah.
And so why I love working with you, Michael, and I think why you love working with us is because we obviously see the opportunity in helping somebody throughout the process. Plus, it gives us an opportunity to educate them.
100%.
You know, if we're spending 6 months with somebody, and it's not like we're, you know, together every weekend, you know, we're going to be smart with our time because we're business people as well, and we have families. But we're going to give you things to do and help you understand what needs to happen over the next 6 months and prepare for the road ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so simple, but agents, especially in a market like this, are so darn busy that they just, okay, sorry, you don't get a mortgage right now. Best of luck to you.
Right.
And I'm sure same thing in your industry.
100%. I already said it once, I'll say it again. It's never a no, it's a not right now. Whether we have to plan for down payment, whether we've got to do some credit work, get you up to where we need you to get you actually approved, we'll get you there. I never, ever just tell somebody no and let them go. If you want this, I'll get you there. Here's the plan. You got as much access to me as you want me. Let's put it together and make it work.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're talking with Michael Santelli of Movement Mortgage, and we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk more about the first-time home buyer program that he has, the coaching that he employs to get people into home ownership for the first time, and then I'm going to give you some tips and some insight as well from the real estate agent's perspective. So stick around. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Stay tuned for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. 1250 WTMA. Expert news and views on the Lowcountry real estate scene. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA. I'm Brian Beatty, and we're talking with Michael Santelli of Movement Mortgage about first-time home buyers. And we've been giving you some things not to do. When first we were talking about kind of this real estate triangle or this financing triangle, Michael, help me. I'm going to kick it back to you and kind of finish your thought because we had to take a break on that particular topic.
Right. So we were talking about the misconception that I do not qualify. Right. So we talked about credit score, we talked about down payment, and lastly, I want to talk about that debt to income, that last piece of that triangle that I always call the trifecta of underwriting. Debt to income is exactly what it sounds like. It's how much monthly debt you incur on your credit report plus the mortgage payment divided by how much income you bring in. Now, people have this, first-time buyers have this, preconceived notion, well, I don't have any credit or work history. I don't qualify. That's not true. Actually, because you were in school, if I could get a copy of your transcripts, we actually count that as work history. So the very day you get out of school and you've got a full-time job, and we can prove that with an offer letter or your first pay stub, that is qualified income. You are now ready to go.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
How kind of far we've come over the past couple of years to now be able to offer that to somebody as a first-time home buyer, which is, it's evident that, the United States as a market wants first-time home buyers into home ownership. That's really the fuel for the fire that's going to continue to help our real estate market and really kind of not continue to push along this seller's market that we're in, but add some balance to the market. We need first-time home buyers to buy new construction, but more importantly, to buy the first-time home sellers' property so they can move up into a more expensive market. So it's what makes the whole world go round. And there's clearly been some challenges, not just here in Charleston, but nationwide as it relates to first-time home buyers. So that's awesome news. So if you're listening right now and you've gotten your job, very recently, or let's say you're a parent and your child has just gotten out of college, or does it have to be college? I mean,
no, it doesn't have to be college. It's got to be some sort of secondary education, though.
Okay,
All right.
So boom, that counts as their work history.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a job and they can go and buy a house.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It's not self-employed, but as long as you're a W-2 earner, that's going to be something that we can qualify and get you into the home.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about first-time home buyers with Michael Santelli of Movement Mortgage, and we're talking about things not to do, rather than giving you this list of things that you should be doing. What are some additional things that they should not do?
Right, and this one actually is kind of a sweeping misconception across the board, but I see it more in first-time buyers. It's getting pre-qualified at the last minute, right? So we're going to get out there, we're going to start looking at homes online, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we got a real estate agent, now let's go look at homes. The first thing, and I tell this to everybody, get with a lender as absolutely early as you can. Give me a call. When you think you're 3 to 6 months out, call me. We want to get you pre-approved before you're out shopping for that home. So it's not, let's go look at a home and then, now I need a loan. It's the other way around. Call me. Let's get you pre-approved. Let's do some mortgage planning. and then get you out shopping for the home. Because it's not just, like I said earlier, it's not just a mortgage application. Here you go. Here's a loan app. Let's get you going. Let's do a mortgage plan. Let's take a look at your debt. Maybe you already have that gift, right? Your parents already said they could get a help, or a family member said they'll help you. Let's look at some of your debt. Maybe you're carrying a bunch of high interest rate bearing revolving debt like a credit card. Let's knock some of that out and bring the down payment down, because we're only looking at a 3% down payment. So if you're getting more than that, let's knock out some debt. Let's put you in a better position. Let's make a mortgage plan out of it.
Right.
And that goes across the board too.
And so from my perspective, here's the order. Real estate agent, number 1. Pre-qualification through a lender, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go shopping and buy a house. And here's why. And here's why I say that order. And I'm not being selfish with this, because you might say lender first, then real estate agent, then go find a home. Here's why I think my answer is better. And you're welcome to tell me I'm wrong. But let me ask you this. How many times, I mean, even for me and for my team, have you gotten a loan approved for one of our buyers that a different lender rejected?
Oh, man. Often.
So that's why you talk to the real estate agent first, because they can provide you with options. Just because you hear a no from one lender,
that's true,
doesn't mean you can't get a house and get a mortgage.
That's true. I will say this, and I never put lenders down, but I will say sometimes when you're dealing with the bigger banks, if you will, those actual fiduciary institutions like a big bank, you're dealing with somebody that is a salaried employee, or they might have a low commission. You become a low number. And I don't mean to sound, a little bit conceited when I say that, but I'm going to work with people to get them pre-approved and put them in the best case scenario. Because this is a small town. As much as we're growing, my reputation's on the line. I'm going to do everything I can for that person because I want to help them as well. And I know you guys do the same thing. So we're going to find every option we can to make it happen.
Awesome. We're talking with Michael Santelli of Movement Mortgage. Michael, is there anything else that you would say is just a do not do,
right,
if you're a first-time home buyer?
Absolutely. So we said, assuming you won't qualify is number 1, getting pre-qualified at the last second or pre-approved at the last second. The last one, I kind of already touched upon. It's being concerned with rate and not the structure of your mortgage. It's putting together a mortgage plan. If you're going to be moving out of this house in 5 to 7 years, that opens up so many different lending options and planning aspects that we could do a whole nother segment on just mortgage planning. But that's the big one. Work with a lender who's going to work with you to put you in the best position possible for this mortgage now and going forward for the next 5 to 7 years, or however long you plan on owning this home, or maybe you own it, maybe you keep it as an investment property. All that stuff comes into light in a mortgage plan. It also included nailing down some debt, maybe moving cash around before a transaction. All of that stuff is brought forward in a good pre-approval by a good lender.
Awesome. I'm just going to tell you, folks, that I get probably 3 or 4 calls a week from lenders that want my business. And I'm so dang happy with Michael Santelli at Movement Mortgage that I don't need any other partners. Now, because I'm a businessman and because I understand that Movement Mortgage can't fit every person, into their list of products, I, of course, have other lenders that we work with. But he does a fantastic job, folks. If you're thinking about buying a house, if you're thinking about refinancing, Michael's the guy to call. I promise he'll take great care of you. Yep. So, Michael, what's your contact information?
I appreciate that. My phone number is 412-953-2491. 412-953-2491. And, of course, you can always get me through Brian or one of his team members, too. And just to wrap it up, I'll hand it back to you, Brian. It's first-time buyers, it's an emotional roller coaster, and you guys see this on your end as well. There's ups, there's downs, there's moments when people love it, there's moments when you're going to hate it. But it's an emotional roller coaster. You can only buy your first home once. So put people in place that you trust, that you know, that you like, and I know we're going to do a good job for you, and that's definitely Brian and his team. Thanks, Brian.
I appreciate that, man. All right, so Michael Santelli with Movement Mortgage. If you didn't catch his number, I'm happy to provide it to you, of course. You can catch me at 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. Or you can go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com, and just hit the contact button and, say, hey, send me that guy's contact info that was on your show this weekend. And, of course, snoop around, search the MLS, learn more about myself, my team. We'd love to help you if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And I did not mention this last segment, because I forgot because I was so excited that my buddy Mike was here. But if you're selling your house this year, we are offering a free pre-listing inspection, which is in addition to the staging that we provide and the professional photography and videography and international marketing and everything else we do to help you sell your home. And that's something I want to talk about next segment is how to create so much buzz for your property that you run the risk of selling it before it even hits the market. What a great problem to have, right? So I'm going to tell you how we do that. I'm not going to give you the keys to the castle, but I'm going to tell you some things that we do to get the word out for our properties because we're doing it time and time again. We're selling properties before, they even really hit the MLS. So stick around for that information. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. And again, if you want to reach out to me, 843-345-1273 or go to listingsincharleston.com.
It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Broadcast Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday mornings at 10 on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. 1250 WTMA. Now, here's more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. Big shout out to Michael Santelli with Movement Mortgage. Thanks for coming on the program. Always good to have him on. Always good to have guests on and just provide a little bit of a different perspective. A lot of what we said is just it's the truth. The process of buying a house can be very confusing based on all of the opinions and information available. There's so many different ways of advising people. And I'm not here to say that one way is right and one way is wrong. I can certainly say from my perspective what's right and what's wrong based on what's worked for myself and for my clients, of which there have been about 1,000 over the course of the past 12 years here in Charleston. I mean, we've done a pretty darn good amount of business. And so we feel like we know our market very well and what people want. And that's incredibly important to us. And of course, as part of this program, I share information with you, experiences from my own business to help you prepare for buying, selling, and investing in real estate. So what I want to talk about now, kind of shifting gears a little bit, is how to create so much buzz, so much interest in your property as you're preparing it for sale that you sell it before it even hits the MLS. We've been very successful in doing this because we have a internal strategy that we've come up with. And of course, I'm not going to tell you that on the air because we have agents that listen to this program, but we have something we've created that is doing a phenomenal job, even if we're not selling it before it hits the market, in building so much interest in the property that we have this kind of waiting list of sorts of people that want to get into the property day one. Hey, you let me know the day before you're putting it on the MLS because we want to be there first. It's a strategy. It's marketing. It's understanding how to cater to the buyer public, if you will, and dangle the carrot a little bit. It's my job to create as much exposure for the seller as possible, and it's also my job to sell their home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. It's really my job just to accomplish their real estate goals, and it's my job, of course, to understand intimately what those goals are. So let me first just say this. If you want to receive a copy of what we do, you want to have a discussion with us about how to do this and help you sell your home, go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com and click on the contact tab. And you can just send me, a message that says listing or pre-marketing or buzz, and we will get back to you. So listingsincharleston.com is the website, or of course you can call or text me. My number is 843-345-1273. 345-1273. So let me start with just kind of the basics. The first thing, of course, is that you are going to meet with a real estate agent before you're ready to put your home on the market. What I mean by that is you don't want to call a real estate agent right after you've done all of this work to prepare it for sale. Allow a real estate agent to advise you on what you should and should not do to your home to prepare it for sale. I've seen so many instances where sellers have just flat out wasted money on doing things that didn't need to be done. There have also been times, of course, where we've had the opportunity to coach them through that process. We'll bring in our stager, our professional designer, and she will say, here's what you should do with this space, or here's how to, expose the natural elements of your home and the natural selling features of your home in its best light. And you walk away with a list of things to do, and I pay for that, and it just helps the process get moved along. So allow a real estate agent to be involved in the preparation of your home so that when it hits the market, it looks as good as it can possibly look, and you've saved money and or earned money based on the things that you've either done or have chosen not to do to your house. That is a biggie. If you're thinking about selling your house, I just implore you to allow somebody like me to come through, and we don't have to sign an agreement. It's just a conversation, but at least let me help you better understand what's going to make you money on the sale, what's going to help you sell your home faster, and then what is just a flat-out waste of time and money and resources. Okay, and let's develop a plan, kind of like what Michael Santelli was saying earlier with regard to creating a mortgage-based plan for a first-time home buyer before you're ready to make an offer on a house. Same thing when you're getting ready to sell a house. And so how do we create buzz? Going back to this initial question of what do we do as real estate agents to create so much buzz and interest in the property that we actually can sell it before it even hits the MLS? So first step, of course, is meeting with that real estate agent, like we just discussed. Now we've got a plan. Now we know what we're doing to the house over the course of the next week or two or months. It depends, of course, before we hit the market. One thing we can do is we can document the work that you're doing to your house. A great avenue for that is Facebook. Let's say you're the owner and you're somewhat proficient in Facebook. You don't even necessarily need to be. I can walk you through it. I can give you a guide that shows you here's what to do on Facebook before and during your home sale. And one of the things that we ask our sellers to do is, let's say that, it's a nice spring day and you're outside and you're doing some yard work and you've just finished up. Take a picture of your front yard and put it on Facebook. Put it on your news feed, put it on your neighborhood page, put it on some groups that you might be a member of, and say, working hard to get the home ready for the spring market. Hope to go on the market in the next 2 weeks. If you're interested, contact, and then put your real estate agent's contact information. And then we get to have a conversation with that buyer about what we're doing to prepare the property for sale. And you never know. You might find a buyer that says, hey, I know you've got 2 or 3 weeks left worth of work to do, but we're ready to buy right now. Would your seller be willing to have us through the property? And if we like what we see, we'll make an offer today. Now think about that for a second. As a seller, you've got, it's the classic mentality of, is one in the hand worth more than two in the bush? Okay, so you've got a ready, willing, and able buyer that wants to see your home before it's officially ready. It's not 100% ready yet. On top of that, you have not introduced your property to the general public. You have not allowed your listing agent to put it on the MLS, which then gets broadcasted to thousands of different websites, in addition to all the websites that I pay for through my marketing platforms, which is, everything from local websites to international marketing. So you haven't even really tested the market, so to speak, to determine the appetite, the demand for a home like yours. All you know is you have somebody that is ready, willing, and able right now that wants to see your house, and if they like it, they'll buy it. Now, as the seller, you're going to take advantage of that through the help of your real estate agent by allowing them to come and see the house, assuming it's not a wreck. I mean, if you're demoing parts of your house, that doesn't make sense. But if we're talking about some minor paint and, hey, we've got to replace the carpet in this room, I think that's fine, because the conversation is going to go something like this. All right, the seller, and this is from me to the other agent or the buyer. All right, the seller they have agreed to allow you to come through the house, but I have to be honest. If you guys are interested in this property and you want to make an offer, You basically have to give the seller what they want, because if you don't, then they're just going to wait another week or so when things are perfect and done, and we're going to put it on the market, because although, of course, we want to work with you, we don't even know how interested other people may be because we haven't given them the opportunity yet. So happy for you to walk through the house. Just please understand, if you want it, you got to give us what we want, which is fair. And you can do your own research to determine that, but we're not over asking. We're in line with the market. But if you want this house before everybody else has a shot at it, you got to give the seller what they want. And that is such a position of power that not only are we creating urgency, we're also supporting our price. We're calling the shots as the seller. So it's a very, very, very effective strategy. Now, I gave you one little tidbit of something that a seller can do, by posting the progress on Facebook and kind of teasing the market, so to speak, with, hey, this listing is coming on the market soon. We're working really hard to make it perfect for you. If you want more information on it, and to learn more about when it's going to hit the market, contact my real estate agent. You put our contact info in there. They call us. We take them through the process. We pre-qualify them, and boom, we hopefully have a buyer. So from the real estate agent's perspective, we can call the neighborhood. We can call our database. We can call other agents working with buyers looking at homes in similar price ranges and areas. We can put it as a coming soon listing. We can do social media advertising. We can do direct mail. I can tease it on the radio. There's so many different things we can do that we create this big buzz around this property so that we try and, emulate in some way what can be done once it goes on the MLS, and then it is exposed locally, regionally, nationally, internationally, online. A lot of the proactive things you can do to sell a home can be done before it hits the MLS. So, again, if you're thinking about selling your house and you want to learn more about what we do to create this kind of activity, give me a call, 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273, or go to listingsincharleston.com. I'm happy to provide you with a list of what we do and when do we do it as it relates to pre-marketing. We are very structured on our team. We know exactly what needs to happen at every step along the way. And on that same topic, I'm going to talk for the last few minutes of this program about a podcast that I heard from another real estate agent in a totally different market, kind of in a way bashing teams and supporting his own agenda as a single real estate agent. And I want to talk about that because it has a lot to do with what we've just discussed, which is what a team can do for you when it comes time to market your property for sale. Strength in numbers versus, the focused attention maybe of one person. So that's coming up right here at the tail end of the program of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. Again, reach out to me at 843-345-1273 or go to listingsincharleston.com and stick around because we'll be right back.
Visit Brian Beatty's website at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. 1250 WTMA. You're listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Welcome back to the last few minutes of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. I want to spend the last few minutes talking about a podcast that I heard. Obviously, as a real estate radio show host, I go outside and listen to other podcasts, and I read news and educate myself and ensure that, of course, I'm always bringing you relevant and interesting content. And then, of course, I'm gauging that. I'm cross-referencing that with my own personal experiences to ensure that what I'm telling you is something I believe in, is something that's factual, and something that will help you prepare when it comes time for you to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And I was listening to this one podcast, and I have to tell you that the name of the podcast, I'm not going to tell you the name of the podcast or the person that hosts it. I assume it's somewhat popular. But the name of the podcast kind of led you to believe that, hey, he's a straight shooter and he only here to tell you the truth about real estate. I dub myself that way. I truly believe that I am not here to skew the information I provide you for personal gain. I'm here to help educate you about real estate so you can make informed decisions. And if it turns out that I'm the kind of real estate agent you want to work with, then awesome. Would love to work with you and would love to earn your business. If not, that's okay too. At least you can use the information I provide you with to, work with your cousin or your friend or the other person that you've been communicating with for 5 years. It doesn't matter. All I want is to give you the information. And so this one particular episode I was listening to referenced an article that came out fairly recently from Forbes magazine or Forbes.com. And it said, the 3 most important questions that you need to ask a real estate agent. He goes on to say, and I want to make sure that I'm not bashing anybody because that's certainly not my intent. I just want to offer a different opinion. And he goes on to say that, all right, so according to Forbes.com and the person that wrote this article, which obviously it's just a guest that has submitted the article that Forbes.com has put on their site, who is a leader of a team and a coach and somewhat successful real estate agent, apparently. And so he's come up with the 3 most important questions you need to ask a real estate agent. The first question is, how many homes have you sold in the past 12 months? And according to the article on Forbes, it's supposed to help you gauge that particular agent's market knowledge and experience and aptitude, skill set. And the person hosting the podcast said that, the number of homes that a person sells in a year is 100% irrelevant to a seller. And I just have to say first and foremost that when people start talking in absolutes, I tend to kind of shut it off a little bit. I tend not to trust them so much because there's always a different side, right? Especially when it's an opinion. Now, if we're talking about 2 + 2, I'm pretty sure we all know what the answer to that is, right? But when we're talking about what structure or which avenue or which question is the best, in and of itself, it's a flawed approach, right? So his opinion was that it tells you nothing about how good of a job each agent did for each individual home seller. If you can tell me a statistic or some sort of measurable item that I could use to tell the general public how successful I was with each individual seller, not the whole total number of homes I sold, but with each individual seller, then I will eat my hat and I'll pay $1,000. And here's why I'm not going to be eating a hat anytime soon. Because every single seller's goal is different. Not everybody wants to sell in the least amount of time. Not everybody needs to get top dollar for their house. Not everybody needs to sell in general. Some people would like to sell. And if it takes a little bit more time, that's okay. Maybe we're on the market and just kind of buying our time a little bit so that when the right property hits the market, we're prepared. So to say that the number of homes that somebody sells is irrelevant, or to say that it doesn't gauge the agent's ability to sell each individual person's house, it's just kind of flawed. Now, according to him, lots of sales means that the listing agent just doesn't pay attention to you. You were pawned off on, Lisa, who manages the listing, and John, who manages the marketing, and Ted, who manages the closing process. You're just one person that gets put through, a real estate assembly line. And none's going to pay close attention to you because you're just another number. And if it doesn't work out, oh well. There are plenty of other clients on the assembly line, plenty of other clients on the conveyor belt. And I have to tell you, folks, that is fear-based selling at its finest. He goes on to say that, as a single agent, he loves going up against teams because he doesn't get any pushback from the seller. He says that teams just throw stuff up on the wall and they see what sticks. They don't care if it sticks. They don't want to expand on, anything other than what they're currently doing. It's a package. You subscribe to the package or not. They don't want to expend any additional effort or feel like they even need to expend any additional effort because to them, it's just a numbers game. To teams, it's just a numbers game. The more listings you have, the more sales you have, because even if your home doesn't sell, you're still getting contacted by buyers that might buy something else. So the more listings a team has, the more they're able to kind of feed the machine. It's total BS, folks. And again, he's using fear-based selling and is attacking the character of a portion of real estate agents that own or belong to teams and kind of promoting his own agenda, which is to convince you that going with a single agent is always better than going with a team. That's obviously not true. And I could talk to you until I'm blue in the face about the differences between a single agent and a team and why I chose to build a team and why I feel it's better, not just for me, but for my clients. And if you want to have that kind of discussion, I'm an open book. 843-345-1273 is my cell phone or my text. And when we work with sellers, it is a very frank discussion because in my opinion, he's entitled to his, but my opinion, based on results and the feedback we've received from others meaning clients, and of course the fact that we're selling homes on a median of 18 days and for 98% of asking price, we're doing pretty well. Some of that's the market. A lot of it is our structure and how we approach the process of selling real estate and the process of interacting with our clients, truly understanding our clients. So for some people, a single agent might be better. I think for most people, a team is the way to go. Just my opinion. But if you want to talk to me about that, 843-345-1273 or listingsincharleston.com. But why am I telling you this? Why do you care? I'm not here to necessarily vocalize my disdain for that particular article because that doesn't do you any good. What I want you to understand as somebody listening to this program that might buy, sell, or invest in real estate is that agents are salespeople. Okay? They want your business. They've perfected their pitch. Our market right now has demanded that agents get better at what they do, which sounds counterintuitive considering the fact that we've got all these people that want to buy and sell. But you know what's happened? We've had so many agents join the market that the opportunity for market share has dwindled. It is now harder for me to get a listing, not easier. There's more competition in the form of agents. And everybody in this town especially knows somebody that's in real estate. I'm going to list with my brother. He's probably not even a real estate agent, full time. He's got another job, but he's got a license. He'll cut me a deal on the commission. And that's what that seller wants. And, that's fine. But what I want you to understand as a potential seller, let's just focus on that for a second, is that the agent that comes in and just gives you the dog and pony show and they tell you that, hey, this is everything we do and here's this and here's that and here's feature. They're not listening to you. They are there to ensure that by the end of their appointment, you understand them. It is an immature approach to selling real estate. And I say that because there are so many people I work with and that my team works with where we hardly even touch on the marketing aspect of things. Of course, we give them the information, but we don't feel the need to drill down on every single technical aspect of selling real estate. Because do you really care as a seller about what the back-end system that I manage my clients in looks like and how it works and the intricacies of it? You probably don't. What you really care about is selling your house for the most amount of money and in the least amount of time. And so the agent that understands you and your goals and what you need out of this transaction is the agent that you're going to feel comfortable working with. It has to be a specific approach on the real estate agent's part. If I'm just here to, talk about me, I haven't spent any time learning about you, which is why the whole idea of measuring a real estate agent's success by the number of homes they've sold or, the number of homes that they listed versus sold, it all depends on what your goals are. So my encouragement for you is to identify questions that matter to you based on your goals and needs. And I'm happy to provide that to you if you need a list of some questions. Listingsincharleston.com is my website. listingsincharleston.com, or call or text me 843-345-1273. I'm out of time, folks. Enjoy your weekend, and thanks for listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Join us for another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show next Saturday morning at 9 and Sunday morning at 10. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. 843-345-1273.